Lately, in certain videos and in certain spaces, colorism is becoming more prominent. I'm hearing it talked about at work. I'm hearing it talked about on the media, television, and in social media. It is a heavy topic. I've talked about it myself a little bit, and I've had claims, because I am not someone who is in front of the camera. They say, oh, you're dark skinned, you're ugly, all of the things that are said to dark skinned women about why they are speaking out about colorism. But I just have to say that personally, I'm not a dark skinned woman. I consider myself a brown skin woman, and some people have placed me in the lighter side of brown skin. I would maybe be classified with Megan Good. I feel like I'm deeper, a little bit deeper than her, but I say I'm brown skin. Personally, I don't have any children, so I don't have any baby daddy drama. I have a good job. I have no biases. Basically, being in the middle, I don't have any biases as far as dark-skinned women, light-skinned women, because personally, in my family, I have all different shades. With my mother and father, which they had 5 kids, in total 6, adding his son from a previous marriage. I have dark-skinned siblings and I have light-skinned siblings, and I've heard more issues regarding skin color and opportunities and treatment with my dark-skinned sibling. Personally, with my mother, she didn't make a difference between any of us. She treated us all the same. My darker skinned sibling, she basically said that our mother, reinforced how beautiful she was and how pretty she was, and she's a girly girl. So it seems like people are trying to shut the conversation down as well, but I do think it needs to be had, because people will say, you have to deal with racism and white supremacy to then get colorism out of the way. That's not true. If white people disappeared and anybody with that mindset disappeared today, we would pick up where they left off. It wouldn't get better. We would be sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya, hugging and loving each other regardless of skin color. That's not true. Being in the middle of the spectrum, my skin tone does not bring any type of alertness for white people and people who have colorist views. For some reason, they feel comfortable saying certain things to me, and they feel like I agree until I push back, and then they'll try and stop or cut the conversation. From what I've heard regarding my sibling, she basically married a lighter skinned man because she did not want her children to go through what she went through as a dark skinned female. There were people who were in our own family who said things to her that contributed to certain decisions that she made, even being with a man who did not treat her with respect. Because she wanted to be married, she didn't want to be a single mother, she wanted to have a family, and she wanted to prove what certain people were saying was wrong. She was labeled as fast and hot and sexual because of the shape of her body, which she had no control over as a teenager. And also there were certain friends of the family who told our mother that, you know, she was wearing certain clothes that she shouldn't be wearing, even though it was in fashion. And she was around 17 at the time, and she wanted to know, like, why was he even looking at her in that way, in that sexual way? Because this family friend happened to be a lighter skinned man who preferred darker skinned women. But being that family friend, she wanted to know, why was he looking at her in that way, and why was he going back telling our mother that, you know, these things about her, when it wasn't like that. Black women are called ugly, put down. You know, she was told at one point, you know, she's black, she's ugly, nobody would want her. She basically divulged all this information of things that she had went through in her life. But no matter what they said, they were not able to break her spirit. She eventually got out of a bad relationship, let that break her. And I've heard some things from racially ambiguous women you wouldn't know what category to put them in, as, you know, they would say I was teased for being pretty. You know, girls were putting gum in my hair. They were jealous of me because of my skin tone. And it always happened to go to skin tone. It always had to be their looks and their racially ambiguous looks that made them be teased. As if maybe you were being teased because you were just being picked on, and then people just picked up little things just to tease you about. Just, you know, kids bullying another kid, and it had nothing to do with your skin tone. That's a possibility, and that can go either way with dark skin and light skin. Things like that happen. But I haven't heard like the harsh things that I've heard concerning dark skinned women and what they have to go through. I haven't heard that on the lighter spectrum of them talking about the things that they went through. And then with light skinned black women, I have heard them call dark skinned women nappy headed, black and ugly, dark skinned. There was this woman who was talking. She was a light skinned black woman, and she was talking about this girl who used to pick on her, and it was kids. They lived in a house, but she explained them as they were dark skinned, they were ghetto, they were ugly, bad kids in the neighborhood. This is what she said about them. She couldn't just say that these were badass kids in the neighborhood that terrorized, you know, other kids, even though they did this to other kids other than her. She basically had to reference that they were dark skinned. She said they were ghetto. She was making reference to them being dirty and things like that. I've also done a video before on a dark-skinned woman who wanted her son to procreate and be with a white woman, and she didn't want to accept the child that he had with a black woman. You know, there are women who are dark-skinned who will push that, but that's only because they know how they were treated as a dark-skinned woman, how their offspring will be treated. They felt like they were going through hell, and they don't want to put that off on their child or that their grandchild, because it's harsh. There is a woman who I know, and she is very comfortable saying things in front of Caucasian people and in front of me that I have been shocked. And I believe that she tries to play it off as if it's a joke, but I'm literally left speechless. And if I'm left speechless, then I can only imagine how hurt, you know, dark-skinned women are. And people who say that dark-skinned women are angry and bitter and lash out If you have had things said to you, what I have heard, do you really have to wonder why? Now, this woman herself, she's a brown-skinned woman. And looking at her pictures, she's a tad deeper than me. Just a tad. But she ended up having a child with a extremely dark-skinned male. This child came out racially ambiguous looking. Blue eyes, blonde hair, loose curls. And she said that her daughter's skin tone made her pretty. She was happy that her child came out looking the way her child looked. She gave her a name that would help her advance in her career, in her education, in the world. She'll be more accepted and brought in. She was happy for the super light skin tone that her child has. If she had dark skin, brown eyes, regular brown hair, and a strong black phenotype, she would look like an ape. She talked about how, I believe her grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, I'm not sure which one, is white, and that's where her child gets those beautiful features from. And she is very glad that her child has those residual features. She was around a group of white people, and she said that she will never date a black male again, that she only wants to date white males or biracial males because she's over it. She will only entertain a black male if he is well off and he looks good. She talked about black names, and this really gets me about black people. I don't care what shade you are. Black people who talk about black names. Black people have the right to name their children whatever the hell they want to. If you can have white people naming their kids Apple and Pilot Inspector and dumb shit like that, I don't want to hear about these names. Every letter in the alphabet in the last name of Caucasian people, but yet you want to talk about black names. Okay. Idiocy. She talked about black people. You know, I don't want my child associated with these ghetto hood rat children. Not that they were bad or they did anything wrong. It's just her child is better because of those features, right? She was comfortable saying that to a brown-skinned woman. She also let me know that a black male that she was talking to via Facebook messaged her, called her, and told her that he wanted to be with her. He would provide for her. He wanted a relationship with her because he saw her with her child. And he saw the way her child came out with the blonde curly hair, with the blue eyes, with the very light skin. And he said that he knows if he procreates with her that he'll have a beautiful child. And this is a black male. Black males in my family are not exempt from criticism about their colorist ways, because I do have a few that don't like dark-skinned women regardless of the beauty of the woman. They say they just don't like the dark skin. And there's quite a few people within my family that are colorist. I've heard a few women be colorist as well. and say things about dark-skinned women. So this is coming from a brown-skinned woman. It's not all in dark-skinned women head. There are light-skinned women, racially ambiguous women, and brown-skinned women who are comfortable to sit down with me and say these things like we're having a normal conversation and like this is okay. And they try and say it in a joking way to make it funny, but it's not funny. It's hurtful. It's mean-spirited. It's actually very ignorant, because anyone knows the more melanin that you have in your skin, the more health benefits, the more beauty benefits. You will not age so quickly and so horribly. And this colonialism has really done a number on people. So what irritates me the most is when people tell dark-skinned women that it's all in their head. It's not true. When, as a brown-skinned woman, I literally have to sit there and hear that bullshit out of another black woman's mouth who is not dark-skinned, because she thinks it makes her better and it makes her offspring better to be closer to white. And this is said in my face. But I'll go ahead and I'll leave it right here. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if you have been done this way, where you are sitting down and someone felt comfortable to express their colorism, or let me know about any stories that you have of colorism, and I will see you in the next one.